Hey guys, it's Jason, and this is my review for Transformers Rise of the Beast, directed by Stephen Caple Jr., and is a prequel to the Michael Bay Transformers films that takes place in the year 1994. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, as well as other Autobots have to save the Earth from a new threat that comes to Earth known as Unicron, who gets the help from Terricons. And Optimus gets the help from two humans played by Anthony Ramos and Domonique Fishback, as well as the help from Optimus Primal and his Maximals to defeat the Terricons and save Earth. I'm gonna be honest, I am not a huge fan of the Transformers. I don't hate them, I'm more of a casual fan. I didn't collect a lot of the toys, I had some growing up, and I haven't watched a lot of the animated shows as a kid. I've only seen like a couple of them, but I have seen most of the live action films from Michael Bay, as well as the Bumblebee movie from 2018, and also have seen the animated movie from the 80s. And gratefully, I do know some of the big Transformers that they would have, like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron, but I really don't know any of the Maximals, really, because I never grew up watching the Beast Wars show when I was little. I didn't even know that that existed back then, and I didn't even know that that was a Transformers series until recently this year. I wasn't too excited for it because of most of the live action films haven't really impressed me that much. There's some that I have enjoyed, like the Bumblebee movie. I think that one's fun, and I do like Michael Bay's first Transformers film. That one was okay. But there's also been some films in the franchise that I have not enjoyed, like Revenge of the Fallen, for a few reasons. Like, there are two racist Autobots that would appear a lot: a marijuana brownie, dog sex, a close-up of John Turturro's bare naked butt, as well as a Decepticon humping Megan Fox's leg. Yeah, that's in the movie, in case if you don't know, or if you haven't even seen that movie. But I was still a little curious about wanting to see this film because this is not directed by Michael Bay. Then again, the Bumblebee movie wasn't either, and that movie was still fun. And is this movie fun? I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's decent. Not great, but decent. For one, this movie has some surprisingly sympathetic human characters because the human characters in the Bay films were not sympathetic at all. They were just either annoying or just stupid. But at least the Bumblebee movie was able to have some sympathetic characters and make them likable, like Haley Steinfeld. She was definitely one of the best parts of that film. And here, this film does attempt to make characters that you start to care about, like Anthony Ramos's character Noah. He starts to feel very sympathetic when he's first introduced. He lives with his mother and his younger brother, who has this very sick condition with his arm, and he's been trying to make more money by finding a job so that he can take his brother to a hospital and get that problem fixed, but unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot of money to do so, and none of the jobs that he's able to find are able to help him do so, and you do feel bad for him throughout the whole film because of that, and Anthony Ramos gives a really good performance. The CGI on the Autobots, the Maximals, and the Terricons is really good, especially with the way they transform and fight throughout the whole film. It definitely makes some of the action in the film a lot of fun. I mean, if you mostly want to watch a Transformers film for the action, this movie does have a lot of that, and it's a lot of fun to see. The voice acting from the Autobots, the Terricons, and the Maximals is also really good. Like, Peter Cullen is, of course, fantastic as Optimus Prime, and I also liked Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, and there were also some other voice actors I had no idea were in this movie, like Michelle Yeoh, Peter Dinklage, and Pete Davidson. Stephen Caple Jr. does a pretty good job directing this movie, and I was curious to see how he would handle a Transformers movie, because he's mostly known for directing Creed 2, which is really good, by the way. If you love the first Creed, I do do recommend watching Creed 2 if you haven't. And that movie is more of a boxing movie. It's not a big sci-fi action movie like this is. And here, he does a pretty good job. Now, I am gonna say this. If you are a fan of the Beast Wars animated series and some of the other animated Transformers shows, then you might be slightly disappointed with how much of the Maximals are in this movie, because they don't appear a lot in the first half of the movie. It's not until the second half when they are finally fully introduced, instead of just leaving like little cameos that they have in the beginning. So if you haven't seen this movie and you are excited to see the Maximals, don't expect a whole lot of them, because you're gonna be disappointed. Now, despite the fact that this movie takes place in the 90s and it does involve the Maximals and the Terricons, it doesn't do a whole lot to feel different from the other Michael Bay films that we've gotten. It's really just the usual save the world type of story where they have to defeat the Terricons and save Earth, and that's pretty much a staple of Transformers. But I think maybe the biggest problem I have with this movie is that you can clearly see what's gonna happen, because this is a prequel. We already know this takes place 13 years before the original Michael Bay film, and I get that they didn't want to do so much different stuff with this movie so that they don't mess up the timeline for the Michael Bay film, but I would have liked it if they tried more different stuff to make it feel fresh, like show more of what Optimus and the other Autobots were doing on Earth in the 90s besides trying to save the world. And there were also a couple of exposition scenes that are important for the film, but there's some that do kind of repeat themselves, like explain more about this certain item that they have to get. I'm not going to spoil it just in case if you don't know what it is, but when they explain what it is, they, for some reason, 13 minutes later decide to explain it again, and it's like, yeah, we get it. We already know why that's important. You don't need to explain it again. Transformers Rise of the Beast may not be an amazing film. It really has a basic plot and some exposition moments that really didn't need to be there, but it still managed to be an okay movie with good action sequences, really good CGI, good voice acting, a very sympathetic lead from one of the human characters of the film, and really good direction. If you love the Transformers lore, then you might enjoy this more than me if you don't mind like the basic plot. But if you love Beast Wars and you were expecting a lot more of the Maximals and the Terricons in this film, you might be disappointed, so don't expect a lot of them. But I hope you still enjoy the film regardless of that. It's not quite as good as the Bumblebee movie or the first Michael Bay Transformers film, but it's definitely better than the rest of the Michael Bay films. And there are no annoying human characters in the film, and there's none of that bad Michael Bay humor, thank God, because we're getting tired of seeing that in his Transformers films. There are no sex jokes to be found, no high contrast saturated colors, and no overabundance of explosions, and no creepy pervy shots of hot girls walking around in a Transformers movie. And it's not super long. It's not like 2 hours and 40 minutes like Age of Extinction was. It's just 2 hours and 7 minutes, and I am perfectly fine with that runtime. I'm gonna give Transformers Rise of the Beasts a B-. Also, stay for the very end, not just for the credits scene that would play, but also stay for the very end before the credits would start, because without giving anything away, this movie sets up a possibility that could get fans of Transformers and another thing pretty excited. So guys, if you have seen Transformers Rise of the Beast, what did you think about it? Did you think it's a great movie, or did you think it was terrible? Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know this: if you've seen all of the live action films, including the animated film from the 80s, where would you rank Rise of the Beast? For me, it's kind of in the middle. Granted, I haven't seen all of the films, so that's going to be a little tough for me. And as always, if you like this review, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it makes my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you get notifications of other movies I'm reviewing. Follow me on Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.